Hello everyone. So this is week 4. Today I'm presenting freedom of speech and intellectual property. The main tension is that technology makes expression easier, but it also makes copying, stealing, and spreading harmful content a lot easier. My position is that the freedom of speech and intellectual property both matter, but neither should be treated as an absolute when real harm, exploitation, or dishonesty is involved. Okay, so this week asks us to define freedom of speech and intellectual property rights, then compare them and explain how they're enforced. It also asks us to connect the topic to John Dyer's article, where he argues that technology is not just a neutral tool. Technology shapes people and becomes part of the larger story of human creativity and responsibility. Freedom of speech. This is, you can see like both terms here. I'm not going to be reading exactly off of the slide, but you can read the bullet points if you want to. Means people should usually be able to express like ideas and opinions without unfair censorship. In technology, this comes up through social media platforms and algorithms and comment sections, especially, or even like online publishing. And the tricky part is that speech online can spread very fast, so platforms have to balance both expression with harm prevention. If they remove too much, people feel silenced, and if they remove too little, people feel like harassed or misled. Okay. Intellectual property is about protecting creations of the mind. In IT, that can mean code, software, music, videos, images, designs, databases, brand names, or confidential business methods. Digital tools make copying almost effortless, so it is easy for people to assume that anything online is free to use, but ethically, creators deserve recognition and protection. At the same time, society also benefits from fair use of open source software, education, and innovation. Freedom of speech and intellectual property are similar because both deal with human expression and creativity, but they're not the same. Freedom of speech protects the ability to communicate ideas, and then intellectual property protects like ownership and control over creative work. Sometimes they conflict. For example, someone may say they have a right to post or remix or criticize someone else's content, and the creator may say their work is being stolen or misused. Ethical IT has to balance both instead of pretending one side automatically wins. In practice, speech and intellectual property are enforced in different ways. Speech online is often enforced by platform moderation, including automated filters, human review, reports, strikes, bans, and appeals. Intellectual property is enforced through licensing, copyright claims, takedown notices, lawsuits, and platform systems like Content ID. The ethical problem is that both types of enforcement can go too far. Speech rules can silence people unfairly, and copyright rules can block fair use, criticism, or education. John Dyer's article connects strongly to this week because he argues that technology is not just a neutral container for ideas. Technology shapes us while we use it. That matters for freedom of speech because the platform affects who gets heard, what spreads, and what gets buried. It also matters for intellectual property because creative tools affect how easy it is to copy or claim ownership. Dyer's view pushes IT professionals to ask deeper questions about the kind of culture our tools are creating. For research, Kozyreva and colleagues studied content moderation dilemmas between free speech and harmful misinformation. Their work supports the idea that platforms need clear and consistent rules, especially when misinformation is harmful or repeated. Um, Busadi and colleagues focus on generative AI and intellectual property. Um, I'm sorry, I may have mispronounced that. Feel free to correct me if I did. But they explain how AI challenges older copyright rules, because it can reproduce or transform the human created work in ways that are legally and ethically unclear. Together, these articles show that technology ethics is about governance and not just its features. For biblical integration, I chose James 3:9 through 10 because it talks about the power of speech. It also says the tongue with the tongue we praise God, but also curse human beings who are made in God's likeness. That connects to online speech because people can forget that there's a real person on the other side of the screen. And also connects to intellectual property because creativity reflects human dignity. And if people can make things, we should not casually or we should not casually steal or exploit their work. For personal reflection, this topic reminds me that access is not the same thing as permission. In tech work, you may have access to files, photos, software, or even like certain customer data, but that doesn't mean that you can use it like however you want. The same thing applies online. Just because a song or like a meme or anything is like easy to copy doesn't mean it's ethically free. If I were handling it, I would want to respect licenses, give credit, or ask permission when needed, and still defend honest speech without letting harassment or exploitation or whatever slide. To kind of wrap this whole thing up, freedom of speech and intellectual property both protect important human goods. Speech protects expression, debate, and agency, and intellectual property protects creators, innovation, and fair ownership. But both can be abused if they're treated as absolute. The better ethical position is balance. So protect speech without enabling harm, and then protect creators without destroying fair use or access to knowledge. So the goal isn't to have like a louder internet or a more locked down internet. It's like a wiser one. And then this is my references slide if you guys wanted to look at any of my references. So yeah, that's it. Bye.